Hey everybody, so we're here today to kick off cultural sensitivity and diversity training here in our organization. And that is going to give us the ability to understand our differences and how they affect others in our organization as far as communication. Next. So first we want to take a minute to clear up any misconceptions on what the true meaning of cultural sensitivity, diversity, and inclusion are. Social media would like to use those terms as a catalyst for negative messages, but it's important that you know the truth and develop your own ideas of what each is, not what's fed to you. So, cultural sensitivity is defined as knowledge, awareness, and the acceptance of others and other cultures. It's a skill that allows people to understand and learn about others whose cultural background is different from their own. Whereas diversity is the practice of including people from different social, gender, or sexually orientated backgrounds. And finally, inclusion is the push for society, including employers, to provide equal access to opportunities and resources for people who might normally be excluded. So none of these are as bad as you thought, right? Next. It's important that you understand what different terms mean. Gender as defined is the normal behavior and role associated with being a woman, a man, a boy or a girl, and as well as the relationships with others. Gender identity is how a person feels personally as an individual, who they relate to, what sex they relate to. Sexual orientation is based on an individual's mate preference and who they're attracted to. Race is defined as being based on a person's ancestral origins, their historical community affiliation, or their shared culture. And ethnicity is based on the language spoke, the nationality, or their religious expression. Next. Cultural sensitivity is important, and that our colleagues need to learn these skills to understand and learn about people from different cultures. This will allow them to understand other people's beliefs or their values, and it gives them a drive to change their own behavior to accommodate other people's cultural beliefs. In understanding other cultural values, it may help us to be more aware of our own biases. It'll help us to be more empathetic towards others and their cultural beliefs. And understanding our differences and similarities can create an environment that's comfortable and productive for everyone. Cultural sensitivity also involves being aware of cultural differences and similarities between people without assigning them a value. It involves being aware of these differences and similarities and how they affect learning, values, and behavior. Next. Now let's go over some important factors of inclusive to cultural sensitivity. Religion, in that different people from different cultural backgrounds may have different beliefs about the divine or the afterlife. Ethnicity is important in cultural sensitivity because people from different ethnic groups may learn or behave in different ways. National origin is significant in that discrimination may occur when someone is treated less favorably because of their place of origin or where they grew up. For example, an employer may favor an employee because they are a friend or grew up in the same area. Gender relates in understanding cultural norms and discrimination while acknowledging there are different roles, responsibilities, and the rights of men and women in the community. An example of this is using gender-sensitive language. That's wrong. You want to avoid sexist jokes or acknowledge that lines once drawn by society for men and women are no longer bold. Nowadays, women and men share the same household chores, and both are subjected to domestic violence. Age. Studies have shown that people of age are increasingly reporting that they feel younger than their actual age, and what they think of older adulthood and when it starts. Studies show that age perceptions and attitudes vary within cultures and societies. Cultural sensitivity training may help you realize situations of age group distancing. We're all guilty of others believing the younger generation knew nothing, contrary to the older generation knowing nothing. These perceptions are part of cultural sensitivity. Education, as part of cultural sensitivity, includes realizing people from different cultures may have different ways of communicating, learning, or interacting with others. How many of us are guilty of using a slang word that may have multiple meanings, leaving others wondering what we're talking about? Are we being literal? For instance, telling someone, "Get out of here," may express disbelief in the United States, but say the same phrase in other countries and you are literally telling someone to go away. Socioeconomic status is a measure of a person's education, their income, and their occupation. This could include their social position in comparison to others. Typical socioeconomic classes are high, middle, and low. In terms of cultural sensitivity, those coming from high-class family status are usually viewed as educated, and they hold a higher status in the community. Contrary, low-class family status may be perceived as less educated, with no community status. Sexual orientation is important in cultural sensitivity in that it provides a means to overcome initial distrust and concerns and allow participation and open information exchange. Think of a work colleague that may be afraid to invite a significant other to a work event in fear of what others may think. And finally, mental or physical challenges can impact culture and that they may be perceived as something to hide or as a weakness. Culture influences how people describe and how they feel about their symptoms and how they seek community support. In terms of our colleagues, imagine that the impact of being able to tell your boss that you're not physically able to perform one of your work tasks without fear of losing your job. What if instead concessions could be made? Next. So why do we need cultural sensitivity in the workplace? Well, it's going to help us build relationships. Cultural sensitivity fosters positive relationships with our clients, our partners, and our employees from diverse cultural backgrounds. Businesses can establish trust, a rapport, and mutual respect by understanding and respecting cultural norms, values, and practices, leading to stronger connections and long-term partnerships. It also helps with effective communication. It enables us to communicate across cultures. It helps us interpret and understand verbal and nonverbal cues, adapt communication styles, and avoid misunderstandings and misinterpretations. Effective cross-cultural sensitivity promotes clarity, it reduces conflicts, and it enhances collaboration and productivity. It can also help us penetrate the market. In our increasingly globalized world, cultural sensitivity in the workplace allows businesses to penetrate new markets successfully. By understanding the target market's cultural nuances, preferences, and needs, businesses can tailor their products, their services, their strategies, and their customer experiences to resonate with local customers, gaining a competitive edge. It also helps with reputation and brand image. Demonstrating cultural sensitivity enhances a business's reputation and their image. A company that values diversity, respects cultural differences, and promotes inclusivity, I don't know how to say this word, inclusivity, is viewed positively by customers, employees, and the public. Conversely, cultural insensitivity or offensive behavior can lead to reputational damage, negative publicity, and a loss of business opportunities. Cultural sensitivity will also help us in talent acquisition and retention. It plays a crucial role in attracting and retaining diverse talent. A workplace that fosters cultural sensitivity appeals to a wide range of candidates and improves employee satisfaction, their engagement, and their productivity. It also helps create a collaborative and a harmonious work environment where everyone feels valued and respected. Cultural sensitivity also helps with legal and ethical considerations. It aligns with legal and ethical considerations in international business and local business. Many countries specifically have laws and regulations regarding discrimination, cultural respect, and fair treatment of employees and customers. The U.S. is included. By practicing cultural sensitivity, businesses ensure compliance with these laws and avoid legal consequences and ethical dilemmas. Next. So how do we practice cultural sensitivity? Well, we do this by cultural awareness training. We will provide a comprehensive cultural awareness training to our employees and focus on diverse cultures they interact with. This training will cover cultural norms, customs, communication styles, and etiquette. We're still building on this, and it won't be included in this presentation. This will be later trainings. But we hope to increase your understanding of different cultures so that you can navigate better and avoid misunderstandings. We will consider more diverse and inclusive hiring and actively promote that. We want to seek to build teams that have diverse cultural backgrounds, languages, and perspectives. This will create a rich environment of ideas and experiences and foster cultural sensitivity, creating a more inclusive work environment. We will also provide clear communication channels. We want to establish clear communication and guidelines to ensure effective communication cross-culturally. We want to encourage open dialogue, active listening, and respect for diverse viewpoints. We want to provide opportunities for employees to share their cultural backgrounds, experiences, and promote understanding and appreciation among team members. And we want to celebrate cultural diversity. We will continue to organize cultural events, celebrations, and activities that will allow employees to showcase and appreciate their cultural heritage, such as Diwali. We want to encourage employees to share their traditions, their food, we love to eat, music, festivals, and create a sense of belonging and appreciation in our organization. Next. So now that you understand a little about diversity, and that it's the practice of including and involving people from different social and ethnic backgrounds, genders, or sexual orientations, let's talk about how you do it. The first step is to make yourself aware of biases and realize that we all have them. It's not a characteristic that we need to be ashamed of, but we need to understand those biases to make change. For example, how many of you have the preconceived notion that fat people are lazy? How about older people are technologically challenged? And I imagine some of you here feel that the younger generation lacks a few social traits due to technology always being in their hands. These are all implicit biases. They're not truths, but they're beliefs about each other. Microaggressions are something that slip out of us every day, and we don't even realize we're doing it. And until we understand what they are and how they affect others, that won't change. The term micro in itself, by definition, means small, which is why you miss them if you don't know what you're looking for. Examples of microaggressions include statements like, "You're so articulate, you speak very well." While the words may seem innocuous and even complimentary, depending on the tone and the context, the comments can feel condescending, as if people of color aren't expected to have a full command of their own language. Where are you really from? It sends a clear message that a person of color is viewed as foreign or different. These small comments reinforce a sense of not belonging to a dominant group. "Wow, your hair is so interesting. Can I touch it?" Simply put, it's odd to ask anyone that question. Just stop. Beyond that, this type of question again reinforces the sense that a person of color is different. And questions like that just highlight the fact that you're focusing on that perceived difference. Cross-cultural communications, as stated, is the interaction between people from different cultures. Remember, communication can be both verbal and nonverbal. It's important to understand different cultures communicate differently. For instance, a gesture of respect in some cultures would be to avoid eye contact. This is seen as challenging, while in other cultures, it may be seen as rude not to look eye to eye. Another example of this is the use of small talk to build up relationships. Some cultures do not embrace small talk, which to others may appear to be demand-only conversations. It's not only a difficult skill to learn, but it may hinder relationships unintentionally. Realize also, what's funny in one culture may not be funny in another, and jokes need to be carefully considered. Not everyone may see your humor. And let's define stereotype. A stereotype is defined as a widely held but fixed oversimplification, image or idea of a person or a group. I married a man from California and I am from North Carolina. I have always been here. When he moved to North Carolina, his only perception of us was the Andy Griffith Show. And he felt like everybody was just as laid back and simple as Andy Griffith. This is a stereotype. Remember, when interacting in cross-cultural communication, to practice good listening skills, patience, and understanding. Next. To raise cultural awareness, we need to create a sense of belonging in the workplace and improve interactions among our coworkers, our customers, our partners, and others. Training sets the foundation for learning about and valuing different perspectives and backgrounds and developing empathy. The ability to perceive and relate to the thoughts, emotions, and the experience of others. We want to focus on behaviors by connecting successfully with individuals inside and outside of our workplace. A lot of this depends on having a positive attitude and behaving appropriately. What constitutes acceptable behavior in one situation may not be acceptable in another. The key to raising awareness and changing attitudes is deepening a learner's understanding of the different types of behaviors that help or hinder diversity and inclusion. We want to make better decisions, and we can do that by realizing our unconscious or implicit biases, by passing judgments on others that are favorable or unfavorable based on a stereotype or a preconceived opinion. And we want to improve communication skills that may aid in communication effectively within our group. We want to avoid alienating or offending our customers, our partners, our colleagues, and working in different regions, countries, or cultures. And we want to speak up by making sustainable progress in diversity and inclusion, requiring everyone to participate and use their voice. By speaking up and asking questions, by raising concerns or reporting incidents of discrimination, harassment, bias, microaggressions, or any other misconduct. Next. By practicing cultural sensitivity, diversity, and inclusion in a workplace, our organization will reduce conflict, it will create a sense of belonging, it will minimize biases, and it will help with a better understanding of cultural differences. In the words of someone great, you don't know what you don't know. And by encouraging open communication, we may inspire innovation and creativity of those that are otherwise compelled to remain silent in their current practices. We will improve collaboration by listening, because when people with varied skill sets, backgrounds, or cultural beliefs come together, collaboration improves. We will boost job satisfaction internally by giving our colleagues a sense of fulfillment and happiness at work. This will reduce turnover and boost productivity. And by keeping diversity in mind when hiring, we will strengthen our talent pool. This will allow more individuals with a wide range of backgrounds here in our organization. Organizations that provide regular diversity trainings to all employees and managers benefit. So, this is our new standard. Next. Do we have any questions? No questions, no answers. Okay. A link to this training is going to be sent to every company email account within the week. You're expected to have it completed by the end of this month. Each year, this presentation will be reviewed by our Human Resources Department and reissued for training. All new hires will also receive this training when they're being onboarded. A failure to complete this training annually will result in disciplinary action. Thank you all for your time. Bye.